our topic of discussion is the structures of the platelets, what components are present in it, and what function is played by the platelets. So let's see what is the structures of the platelets. This is the structures of the platelets. This is the plasma membrane of the platelets. Now there are several components which is present in the cytoplasm of the platelets, and they have different role. First of all, this is the lysosomes, which is an organelle present in the cytoplasm of the platelets. Lysosomes contains enzymes which are called hydrolytic enzymes. They have a role in the breakdown of the several components. Second one is the electron dense granule, which have this is basically a granule, and the components like nucleotide, ADP, serotonin, calcium is present in it in different forms, right? This is the electron dense granule, and they have several different functions in the clotting. We will discuss in coming videos. Second one is the alpha granules, which have different components in it like fibrinogen, factor 5, von Willebrand factor, heparin antagonist, platelet factor 4, fibronectin, and platelet derived growth factor. They have different role in the platelets, but the most important is the von Willebrand factor. This is produced by the platelets and the endothelium of the blood vessels, and they are produced mainly in the multiple forms, like this is the multiple forms of the von Willebrand factor, and they break down into the monomer with the help of enzyme. We will discuss it in detail in the next coming videos, but the focus is on the components which is present in the platelets. It's just a review of the platelets and what components are present in it. Alpha granule is basically contain almost all the clotting factors which is present in the alpha granules, and they have different role in the clotting function. Second one is the contractile protein, which is present also in the cytoplasm, and they have different role. Like what proteins are present in it? First one is actin, second one is myosin, and third one is thromboxetinin. These proteins have a role. Like you see, when wound occurs, with the passage of time, when after wound healing, it contracts. What factors involves in the contractions of the wound? These are basically the proteins which is present in the platelet, because when wound occurs, platelets plug together at the injured site, and after healing they contract through these proteins, and due to their contractions wound also contract. Next is Golgi apparatus. As usual, this is an organelle which involved in the for conjugation of the different compounds like glycoprotein, glycolipid. It basically conjugates the carbohydrates with the protein and carbohydrates with the lipids. Next is the antigens, which is present on the plasma membrane of the platelets. This is the HPA. HPA, this is human platelet antigen, which is present on the plasma membrane of the platelets. Another antigen which is present on the plasma membrane of the platelets is the HLA, which is the human leukocyte antigen. But be remember that the human leukocyte antigen will be class 1. Actually, there are two types of the HLA, class 1 or class 2. But the class 1 is present on the plasma membrane of the platelets. Right? Next is the, like you see that there is a plasma membrane and there is inward folding of the plasma membrane. And this forms a structure which is called the canalicular system, which is involved in the attachment of the different granules released by the platelets. Like this one, alpha granule, basically different factors which attach to their surface. Next is the glycoprotein. Glycoprotein is very much important, and three basic glycoprotein is present on the plasma membrane. First one, this is a complex, glycoprotein complex, which is called GPIB, IB, 5 and 9. This is present on the plasma membrane of the platelet. What is the function of it? It actually binds with the von Willebrand factor and then attached to the subendothelium, either to subendothelium or platelets. If the mutations occur in it, like this is a protein, as you know, protein is formed with a pen like this one. DNA convert into the RNA, then RNA, messenger RNA, and then messenger RNA convert into the protein, and it's a protein. It means when mutation occur in the DNA, it means protein is defective, and this occurs in a disease called Bernard-Sollier syndrome. Bernard-Sollier syndrome. When this glycoprotein is defective, then the attachment of the to the von Willebrand factors and then to the subendothelium or platelets is not occur, and due to this clotlet plug is not formed, right? Then second one is glycoprotein. Second complex is the glycoprotein IA, 1A, 2A, or factor 6. This helps in the attachment of the to the collagen of subendothelium. And third one is glycoprotein 2B and 3A. They have a different role. First one, it attached to the von Willebrand factor VWF and fibrinogen. VWF is then further attached to the subendothelium. VWF further attached to the platelets, and fibrinogen further attached to the platelets. I'll make it clear. Listen. This is a blood vessel. When it injured, then the as you know that the blood vessels have different layer, 3 layers: tunica, intima, media, and adventitia. In the tunica media, there is a endothelium. There is a layer of the endothelium, and next one is the subendothelium, which have a lot of collagen. Like this is the tunica intima. Okay. When they expose, and they expose different platelets come around them. And then as you know, platelets membrane contains different types of the glycoprotein. Glycoprotein is, let's suppose this is a glycoprotein which is the factor glycoprotein I, B, B and 9. This attached to the von Willebrand factor, and then von Willebrand factor attached to the endothelium. See, like then this factor is also involved in the attachment to the von Willebrand factor, and von Willebrand factor is further attached to the other platelets which having the same glycoprotein complex. Okay? It means glycoprotein complex is attached to the von Willebrand factor, and further von Willebrand factor either attached to the subendothelium or to the other platelets which have also having the glycoprotein complex, right? Next is the glycoprotein complex, which is 1A, 2A and 6, which attach to the directly to the collagen endothelium. Like this is a glycoprotein which having the factor IA, 2A and 6. This directly attached to the collagen which is exposed to the platelets. This is the basically the functions of the glycoprotein. And third one is the glycoprotein 2B and 3A complex. This is like there is a further chance that this is a platelets, and this is the blood vessel, right? Glycoprotein 2B and 3A complex. Like this is a complex which is present on the platelet. This attached to the von Willebrand factor, and then it attached to the subendothelium. This is a chance. Then there is another glycoprotein which is having the 2B and 3A complex, which attach with the von Willebrand factor, and this further attached to the other platelets which having the same complex. And there is another chance that this complex is attached with the fibrinogen. Like this is a fibrinogen which is further attached to the other platelet. It means this complex is attached with the either attached to the von Willebrand factor or fibrinogen. Von Willebrand factor is further attached to two different things. First one is it can either attach to the subendothelium or it can either attach to the other platelets which having the same glycoprotein complex. And this complex is attached with the if this glycoprotein is complex is attached with the fibrinogen, then there is a chance that other platelets which having the same complex will also attach with the fibrinogen, which is present mainly in the blood, right? So this is all about the structures of the platelet. I hope you understand it.